Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel, and today we're going to be doing another gig recap. I know you guys love this and you love seeing what I perform at my gigs, and this is going to be of a recent gig that I did, which was a bachelorette party, which I tried to do kind of a mentalist spin on it, but not as purist as you may think, because I still did want to make it fun and entertaining. So I'll show you what I brought at this event, and also before we talk about that, I'll talk to you about the gig that I had before that, which was an absolute disaster, and I think it's fun to talk about those as well. So let's roll the intro and get straight into it. Perfect, so you decided to stick around, which means you want to learn more about what I did at my last gig and see an inside of what I brought to perform. But before we get to there, I do want to mention a gig that I had a month or so ago. It was a stage parlor gig, and it was honestly, in my opinion, the worst gig that I've ever done. We won't go over the material that I did, but it was absolutely atrocious. I was promised a stage, and when I got there, I was given a stage, but a stage where all the tables are 360 degrees. Which, for all of you performers out there, especially those that do stage, you know a lot of the effects that you do on stage, you do not want people to see what's going on behind you. So you can imagine how everyone was seeing every effect that I was doing, and on stage you can't change your set list at the last second, because I brought things like E-Wave, I brought big props with me there. That it was something. Additionally, I was told that it was going to be a birthday party for someone that is 45, and it was going to be adults. When I get there, half of the audience are 6 to 8-year-old kids, and when it was my turn to perform, all of the parents said, "Okay, kids, go see the magician." So kids sat down around me while the parents, who I was supposed to perform for, were not in the magic at all, which means that I brought effects that dealt with psychology, that dealt with reading, with books, with numbers, with horoscopes and zodiac signs, and I was performing those effects for 8-year-olds that didn't understand anything. And as you can imagine, when an 8-year-old doesn't understand anything and is a bit annoyed and bored and sees on top of that how you do the effects, they will be screaming it out every single time. So during my whole gig, every effect, kids were screaming, "Oh, mom, look, he's holding the thing behind his hand. Oh, mom, look, he has a second book. Oh, mom, look," etc., etc. So you can imagine that 1 hour of stage in that environment was absolutely dreadful. Additionally, I can tell you how one of the effects went. I did Luke Germain's Tossed Out Deck, which I love, which I performed variations for this show as well. And I gave the cards to a kid and I said, "Go pass them to your dad." What does the kid do? He takes the deck, he says, "Dad, look," throws the deck completely across the room. Yes, because I didn't want him to throw, because yes, tossed out deck, you toss it, but he tomahawked it across the room. It flew over his dad's head, hit the wall, the rubber band snapped, all of the cards flew over, and everyone looked at the cards, and they could all see it was the same 3 cards repeated over and over and over and over and over again. And so then when I took the deck and I had it tossed, people knew it was those 3 cards. So what do they do? Instead of being nice and going for those 3 cards, they decide to think of random cards, ladies and gentlemen. So when I get to the ending of my toss out, I can say, "Sit down if I got your card." Guess what? No one sits down. It was quite something. Now, if you want me to talk more about this gig, I can give you a bigger rundown, but this is not based on that. It's based on this gig, which went phenomenal. It was one of my best gigs that I've had. The best reactions, the best audience. People were losing their minds. I'll talk a bit out at the end. I did some mentalism pieces at the end that made some of them cry because of how impactful those pieces of magic were. So we're going to unpack that for you now. So this is what I brought with me. This was also my set list, so I can show you, because I always have a small set list. So the effects that I performed was, first of all, I start most of my shows with this, because since I'm doing mentalism and I get booked for more adult stage stuff, I always like to do kind of how, because people ask, what is mentalism? How do you train for it? So I answered the question with Memorade. I do Memorade to show them how I train for the memory. I do it with them. Gets great reactions. That's the first effect that I do. And I think if you watch most of what I did at my gigs, Memorade is one of the effects that I always perform because I absolutely love this. Additionally, I also had the TCC close-up sticky pad with me, which is really, really good. So it was nice just to have it on the table. Then the second effect that I performed was this. This is also something that I absolutely love. It's the book test by Sean Farquhar, the Sheer Luck book test with Sherlock Holmes. Always gets amazing reactions. You know, you play the idea, you train for your memory with this, you show them that you have a really good memory. You then do this, you do the gag that you're reading at the same time. Everyone's like, oh, haha, the person there actually thinks that you're using memory. And then when you actually reveal that in the end there was no actual pages in the book you were reading from, it hits them like a truck because now they actually believe the memory stunt that you did before, and this just reinforces it. And this is one of the best, to me, effects for parlor stage. Even though I go as like, you know, a mentalist, even though this is a bit of a gag, I think this just hits hard. And especially just to start, it kind of sets a tone that you are playful, and even though you're going to get into more serious topics later, it's not going to be anything regarding death or deceased ones or anything like that. So it kind of sets a good tone for your magic, and sheer luck is something that I perform all of the time. Then another effect that I absolutely love, it's Decisions by David Regal and Penguin Magic. Phenomenal effect. Every time I perform it, fantastic reactions. If you don't know what this is, I have a review of it. Absolutely great. Then what I performed is this. I had a review of this recently on the channel because I have been performing it a lot, so I did want to give it the light that it deserves, and it is French Postcards by Chris Philpott. This, especially at the type of gigs that I'm getting booked at recently, which is a lot of, you know, bachelorette parties and stuff like that, this works absolutely phenomenally. I did this at a bachelorette, it played perfectly, and I do have upcoming a bachelor's party where I think I'm going to perform this same material bar a few things. So I will be performing this at the bachelor party as well. It's a fantastic effect, plays super well with audiences. It's really, really, really good. Then I moved into, I don't have it because I actually used the gimmick, but into the effect by Rick Lax, where they select a card, they sign half the card, I sign half the card, I rip the card in half, they hold their piece in their hand, I wave it over, it switches in their hand, the signatures. All the time I perform that at most of my gigs, so that was what I did. Then I moved into another effect that I rave a lot about, which is this one, which is the Patrick Kahn wallet effect with the rainbow card inside. So I perform that all the time. I do David Blaine's version. So if you didn't see, David Blaine performs the rainbow card for Logan Paul, I believe. So I use that way to perform the effect for this. It works perfectly, gets insane reactions, and it's also nice that they get to keep a memento of the moment with the picture in their phone. Love, love, love that effect. Then I performed another one that I constantly rave about, which is the lie detector test. So I love this effect. It's again, really tongue-in-cheek, but it plays so nice, and people really, 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 really love this, and they laugh, and they're really surprised by the ending of it. So the lie detector test by Big Blind Media is again something that I love and something that I did at this gig as well. After these effects, I decided to move into another kind of comedy type piece, which was, you guys will have to help me on the name. This is by ALAKAZAM Magic. It's the effect where you have different words. A spectator chooses a word. They get a word kind of like this. You tell this other spectators that you're going to guess what it is. You write SEX as the word, but the word that they actually chose was eat. And then you have an amazing byplay with the audience, obviously, where you ask them, okay, so is this something you enjoy? They say yes, because everyone in the audience thinks it's S-E-X, but the spectator thinks it's eat. So they say, do you enjoy this? They say yes. You say, is this something that you do often? They say yes. You ask them, oh, really? Did you do this morning? They say yes. Oh, you did it this morning. How many times would you say you do it a week? They say like 20. You're like, oh, wow. So then you can play off this, right? It plays fun. It's a great little bit of mentalism, but also casual magic. It's fantastic. I really forgot the name of the effect, but it's absolutely great, especially for bachelor parties or adult events such as this. It's one of the best tricks that you can have in your arsenal for that. I will maybe do a review of it soon if you do want. Then we move into a classic, the Snaps by David Jonathan, revealing someone's name with this. Always an amazing, amazing experience. So Snaps as well. And then I moved into the last part of the show, which is my favorite part, which is Cartomancy by Luc Germain. So I use Cartomancy by Luc Germain to do a bunch of routines. I do the 2 spectator card read, where a spectator looks at a card, a second spectator looks at another card, and then just mentally I'm able to deduct what the cards are. I then move into they find the card. So I say, okay, you know what? You're going to cut out a place in the deck, etc. I was thinking of a card. Where did you cut to? It's the card. They found your card, essentially. I love that routine as well. Then I perform the number effect. You can actually see that I still have it here, where they cut anywhere in the deck and you just write some random digits and numbers, and then it's the amount of cards they cut, the amount of red cards, and the total sum of all of the cards that they cut. And then to end, I also do a pendulum effect with this, where a spectator cuts to a random card. You don't see it, they don't see it. You take a pendulum, you hold it over the card to get some imprints, and then you put it in a glass, and the pendulum will hit the glass a certain amount of times, and the amount of times it hits the glass, it will be the card that they chose. So that is also what I did during the event. As you can see, I also have some additional stuff. I did Palm Reader by David Alnwick as well. But this is the effect that played best, that had the biggest reactions. I had 2 of the girls at the event cry, and it is Tarot Psychometry by Luc Germain. In my opinion, one of the best tarot effects ever made for parlor or stage. If you do not know what this is, I did a review a long time ago. I may do a refreshed one about this. But essentially, 5 people are handed a bunch of tarot cards. They all select one tarot card each. The tarot cards are then returned to a medium. So a person is the medium between you and the audience. They take the cards that they selected in their right hand, the cards that were discarded in their left hand. They shuffle the 5 cards that the spectator selected, and they place them on the table. You then proceed to tell them that this will be a tarot reading based on the card, trying to match who it is from the audience. You take the first card, you give a reading based on the first card, and you say, based on the reading and the card, I think it will match to you. And you do that until the last card, where the last card you say that, oh, obviously this is yours, but what about I give you just a reading from my heart and we see if the card matches. You give the reading, you say, honestly, even if you were to search this online, this would be X card, so let's say the Fool, and then of course they chose the Fool, which matches the reading that you gave without ever seeing the card. That was the closer that I did for my show. Phenomenal. 2 people cried based on the readings that I gave. It's, in my opinion, if you're a mentalist and you don't have Tarot Psychometry by Luc Germain, just get it. It is phenomenal, and you can use it with any deck. I personally, this is my go-to deck of tarot, the Real Life Tarot deck by David Regal. I think it's the best tarot deck for me. As I said in the review for this, I have such an abnormal connection to this deck. It is just ridiculous how much they speak to me, these cards. So I found a way to do Tarot Psychometry, because the method of Tarot Psychometry does not exist in this deck, but I found another way to apply the method to this deck that works flawlessly in performance. So that was my closer. And as you can see, I do have some additional stuff here that I did not perform because we ran over time. I always have with me a lottery prediction. I always have with me business cards if ever I want to do A-OK by Louis Laval or stuff with business cards. I also have with me here As you can see, the card from the performance. I also have with me bigger billets that if I want to do a name in place with bigger billets, I have these kind of notepad cards as well available to me that I can use, but I didn't have to use them because, you know, we got through everything in the performance that I did. So that was everything that I performed at my last show. As I said, it was, in my opinion, one of the best shows that I've ever done. The crowd was phenomenal. They were losing their minds. They were having such a blast. It was also nice because it was a bachelorette party where it happened in the morning, which means that none of them were drunk, none of them were rowdy, none of them were raunchy, none of them were impolite. Everyone was listening. Everyone was so into it. It was honestly just a top, probably 3 gigs that I've done in my lifetime. And this was the material that I brought. So if ever any of this material interests you, I've talked about it. If ever you forgot something or you don't remember where to look for it, leave a message down below. I answered you. But this is what I perform usually for bachelorette parties. For bachelor parties, I do perform something different, and I'll maybe have a video for you after my next gig, which is next week. So maybe I'll do another unpacked for what I did at the bachelor party instead of the bachelorette. So that's everything I had for you in this video. I hope that you enjoy. You guys usually really enjoy these gig recaps. So I'll see you all in my next review next week. We'll have another bunch of really fun effects to look at. So have a great one, and bye-bye.